Welcome. I'm Sue Matheson, your host for another session as I look to ask critical questions or pose critical questions that business leaders and CEOs need to be asking themselves in order to build resilience and empower themselves and their organizations to be able to withstand the pressures that are coming their way. I am a certified integrity game coach and mentor. I have been using the framework to share ideas that help address some of these questions and provide insights and answers. There are 3 pillars that support this framework, and it's about, firstly, engagement, really understanding the people that we're working with, our teams, our organizations, but also externally, the people that we're engaging with. The second pillar is motivation. There are many behaviors that can drive motivation. That's at an individual level, but equally, there can be cultural behaviors within an organization. They can influence a broader community within the company or the organization that you're leading. So it's really being aware of those 2 aspects at the individual level, but also at the group level. The third pillar is accountability. It's here that the integrity game sits. Over the past number of weeks now, to be honest, I have been gradually working through different points on the framework. And we started with purpose, asking the question, what is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of your life, of your business? If you are a professional, what's the meaning of your job? And then integrating that with your gifts. What separates you from the next person? What are the talents, skills, and abilities that you bring to an organization? Then the organization itself, what are the competitive advantages that set your organization apart from the next one? It's the integration of those 2 elements that then open up the opportunity for potential. And asking the question, what is possible? Breaking that down into its elements of vision being the furthest out that we can see in terms of possibility, then coming back a little bit closer, but still a fair way out. It's about mission. What are the achievements and accomplishments that can show either you as an individual or your organization is on the way to achieving your vision? And then coming back in a little bit further from a time perspective to annual objectives. Which brings us to where we've been sitting for the past couple of weeks. And today, this session is the final in this particular topic of goals. It's when we integrate Purpose, gifts, potential, that we then come to what are the milestones within the next 30 to 90 days that are going to show that I'm getting through the steps that I need to. They're going to take me to my achieving my annual objectives. And last week I shared the acronym SMART, S-M-A-A-R-T. And most of you are probably used to SMART with just one A. So we have S, specific, M, measurable. The first A is it achievable? Is it humanly possible? Do I believe that it's possible? And there's a threshold of belief. And I touched on that briefly. It's finding the zone that takes us a little bit beyond what is a given in terms of belief into it becoming a stretch, but it's not so far beyond possibility, say in my own mind or the organization's mind, that it's not going to happen. Going beyond that threshold, it's too easy then psychologically to just give up and go, you know what, this really isn't going to happen. There's no point in me even giving it a go. But if you stay in that threshold of belief, it's the zone where you're willing to keep trying. You're willing to exercise the discipline that is needed to keep moving forward. And then we've got our second A, and R, which is reason or reward, and T refers to being time bound. The question I was posing today for consideration is, what is preventing you from setting your goals? There's a number of issues, roadblocks that can get in the way. What I want to do is take a moment to go through some of those and show the relationship of how the acronym of SMAART helps to resolve that, to take away that issue as a roadblock to you setting goals. Now, one is fear of failure. Some people avoid setting goals because they don't want to risk falling short. My question to you, though, is it failure, really? Or can we flip the perception a little bit and take the view that maybe I achieved 75% of what I set out to achieve, or 60%. But isn't that better than nothing at all? So my challenge for you, if you feel that there is that sense of fear of failure, is to flip the way you look at it. If you'd like to join me in the studio here, come and have a conversation, debate this with me. You don't have to agree. Maybe you want to challenge me. Please click on the link and come and join me. I'd love to have you here with me live, and we can have a conversation. I'd love to know how goal setting has worked for you, or maybe not worked for you. Maybe there are some challenges. Come and jump online with me and we can work through some of those. So that's the link. bit.ly.com /biz with Sue 2025 week 13. So fear of failure, it's very addressable. Another potential roadblock to setting goals is lack of clarity. Not having a clear business vision, it makes it difficult to define meaningful goals. Now, if I take you back to the broader framework where we are up to now, this is where the integration between purpose, gifts, potential makes it far easier to start setting your goals. And the beauty of that too is that the goals that you set are going to be in alignment with your purpose and your vision. They're not going to be a goal for the sake of setting a goal. It's not just going to be some random, I think this is a good idea, let's do this. Your goals then bear a very definite relationship between where you want to go in the short term as well as where you want to go in the long term. And it means you don't get that conflict. And with that alignment, you are far more likely to get buy-in from your team. You will have enthusiasm. You will have momentum. And you'll be able to encourage your team to keep going, especially when things get a little bit rough. Because you can keep coming back to where are we actually heading toward. And because your goals are meaningful, they make sense, there's purpose to them. Another very real possibility that prevents you from setting goals is negative past experiences. You've had a go at setting goals, but you haven't met them. And therefore, it's leading you to a narrative that is pretty skeptic about the effectiveness of goal setting. But again, I draw you to the power of using this framework. It's that integration of those various points that makes your goal setting robust, intentional, and makes it so much easier to stick to the goal. Having said that, if you find that it's challenging to meet the goal, that's not quite coming together, having this framework gives you an opportunity to review, to objectively question. Maybe something needs to be tweaked. Maybe something shifted slightly. But the essence of where you are headed in that moment doesn't necessarily shift a great deal. And with the shoelaces starting at the top that sort of create this funnel, those shoelaces could be labeled with your values. As an individual, what are the values that support the essence of who you are, your belief system, your foundation? In your organization, what are the values that are running through? And again, you can ask yourself the question, particularly if you start hitting roadblocks and things aren't quite going the way that you intended. It gives you a yardstick to measure yourself against. You can ask appropriate questions. Are we moving away from our values? Are we moving away from our purpose? Are we moving away from our vision? Because when you start to do that, that's when goals don't work. You lose momentum, you stop achieving. But on the flip side, you keep that alignment, you keep checking in with yourself. You keep checking in with your organization, asking, how are we going? All of this builds that resilience, builds that strength in your organization and in your people individually. And they can see the value of buying into where you are heading. And certainly from a organizational culture point of view, this is where at an individual level, a person can ask themselves, what are my individual goals? Are they aligning with the organizational goals? And again, when you start to get that synergy with your people, the more individuals that have that synergy collectively, again, build a very, very strong foundation in your organization. And that's where you can start to build. Now I'm going off a little bit off topic here from a goal setting perspective, but it shows the power of having meaningful goals that are aligned, because you then create that organizational culture where people are buying in, people are aligned, both at an individual level and an organizational level. And that is where you become resilient, like I was saying. There is momentum, there's creativity, there's safety to explore options. So I challenge you, if there have been experiences, if there are roadblocks that are preventing you from setting goals, take a moment to reflect again on this framework and see if maybe there's a way that you can ask yourself a different question. Change your perspective so that you can see the power of integrating, so that your goal setting becomes meaningful, you achieve, and you see the value of setting goals. If you have found these ideas helpful, or maybe you would like to add a comment, challenge them even, please put your comments into the live stream, whatever channel you are seeing this on. And if you would like to have a one-on-one conversation to delve more deeply into the framework and how it might help you in your journey, either at an individual level or within your organization, please reach out to me, sue@suematheson.com.au. I would love to have a conversation with you and explore how this integrity game framework can support you in your journey to far better, far greater, far more effective outcomes in your journey. Thank you for being with me at a future date, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.